Hello everyone and welcome to the Tillman School of Business social media account and to our new interview series we have chosen to call Meet the TSB Professors. On this show we will meet up with some of the Tillman School of Business professors and ask them a series of questions that will let you know them a little better. Today we have Dr. Cwik with us. Good morning, Dr. Cwik.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. For how long have you been at the school and what classes can students expect to meet you in?
Well, I've been at University of Mount Olive for about 15 years, and so it's a long time. You can get me teaching economics and finance. My primary passion, though, is economics, but I've taught a heck of a lot of finance as well, and you'll see me both in the undergraduate and in the graduate program.
All right, and that brings us to our next question. What would be your number one advice for success, and what is the most common mistake you see students make in your classes?
Okay, so to be a successful student, you would think that, well, you just have to be super smart and you have to be extra studious and those sorts of things, but really it comes down to attitude and persistence. If you are willing to put in the hard work, even if you have natural talent, if you're not willing to put in the hard work, you're not going to have success. But if you put in the hard work, you can start way at the bottom. I've seen so many students that failed right at the beginning, and they've picked themselves up and they decided that they were going to do it. And it was that sort of positive attitude with persistence that they decided they would never give up, nothing was going to stand in their way, and that's what made them a success.
That's really motivational.
Well, the thing is that you don't need to get an A to be successful, right? You have to learn the skills and learn the tools, and part of that process is learning how to meet failure. Some of the straight A students that have never been challenged, never had to face failure, are not always the best workers. Employers aren't always looking for people who've had an easy ride. You want the students who have overcome obstacles. So I always make my classes challenging.
Great to know. So, we know that you've been to various parts of the world and lectured. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I work with a couple of nonprofits. For example, the Foundation for Economic Education, which is now based in Atlanta, Georgia. And for them, I've gone across the United States and have lectured in California, Arizona, Texas, North Carolina, Michigan, New York, Virginia. And then I've also lectured across the world. I've been to Mexico and Guatemala, and in Europe I've been to France and Germany and Prague and the Czech Republic, Poland, and I think the most exotic two places have been Armenia and Georgia. And when I say Georgia, I don't mean the state of Georgia, I mean the country of Georgia, and I lectured just outside of Tbilisi. So one of the things that I've noticed is that students they have a lot of similarities, right? They're interested in certain things, and those that are interested tend to be motivated, and then you see that persistence kicks in, and they tend to do well. And so it comes down to, can we find that sort of motivation to get them excited about the topic? And I try to motivate my students in my classes, regardless of where I am, so that they want to further their own knowledge and career.
That's great. That's great. So, out of all the trips you've made and all the places you've been, has there been one certain spot that has amazed you in any way, or do you have any special experiences you want to tell us about?
Of all the different places that I've been, I mean, Azerbaijan was very rural. I remember riding on the side of a mountain on snow and ice in a truck that was kind of falling apart with bald tires. I mean, that was a little harrowing. The students in Europe are also interesting because they're very, the ones that I've encountered are already interested in economics, and they're already interested in my particular subject, and so they had lots of questions, lots of in-depth sort of thing. But I can say the same thing about some of the high school students that I've also met in Texas, right? So it really comes down to can you reach that passion that's in the students, and so there isn't one particular aspect where you can say, you know, that type of student is book smart and that type of student is you know, experiential smart. It doesn't come down to that. It really comes down to the amount of effort that they're putting in really reflects how much that they're able to retain and then use in the rest of their life.
That's good. It's really good. So, our last question, why UMO? What is the best part of University of Mount Olive for students and faculty?
The reason why students should be thinking about University of Mount Olive is because it's a small school. You can go to these mega universities and you can be one of 1,000 students or 10,000 students or 15,000 students. I've been to schools like that. I've taught at schools like that. They have lecture rooms, you know, with 300, 500 students. How do you get to know the professor? You don't. How does the professor get to know you? He doesn't. If the professor's even teaching it. Maybe they have a teaching assistant who's just a grad student who's teaching for the first time. At University of Mount Olive, I get to know the students. They get to know me. We interact with each other over a course of several years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years even, and it becomes a community. And we ask each other, how is your day going? We have interests in other than just, oh, you're the kid that I saw for 45 minutes in that one class that one time, right? We get to know each other, and because of that, we're able to do these other extra special things that we're not able to do in these other universities. And so why University of Mount Olive is because it's a private institution. We're able to use things such as morality. We can say things like God and you know, the world doesn't come to an end, or people don't flip out, right? And we're able to you know, be ourselves, right? And who are we? We are a small private Christian university, and we're very proud of that because we put more time and effort into our students than any of these mega universities, and that's why we should be very proud of being here. I know I am.
Can't do anything else but agree. Thank you for that answer, and thank you for taking your time talking to us, Dr. Cwik. Really appreciate it.